Hey guys, welcome back. It is another episode of Topless Talks with Nova, episode 6, I believe, right? I think, pretty sure, maybe 7. Regardless, that means that we've been doing this for 6 and or 7 weeks. I'm so proud of us, guys. I'm so proud of us. And honestly, the reaction that I'm getting is everything. I'm loving it. I love you guys so much. I absolutely adore you, every single one of you. Even the haters, even the lurkers. I love you. Anyway, very interesting episode today. But before we go there, I'm going to catch up with you guys because that's what I always do every week. Oh, my dog's having a dream right now. So if you hear a little in the background, that's what's going on. She's dreaming. Anyway, I've had a very interesting week. I was hit straight in the fucking jaw with a red hot wave of depression. So I've been, kind of dealing with that. Haven't been as active like on social media. Haven't been working as much. I'm still working, but haven't been working as much. Just kind of been taking it easy for me. I won't get into it, but just shit is hard sometimes. And I know I don't need to tell you guys because like you understand. I know you do. But and just the last week has been a week. That's all I'll say about that. And the moral of the story is that if you love someone, you better shake them and tell them as fiercely as you fucking can, because if you don't, you'll regret it. Anyway, so what else did I do this week? I started building C-3PO Lego set. Those of you who frequent my Twitch streams know this already. I'm building it on Twitch if that wasn't obvious. But it's been really fun. I've already spent 3 hours on it, and I've finished both of his legs and his booty. Which is fun. And it's gonna be huge. It's gonna be like this fucking big. Those of you for audio, I don't know why the fuck you're still audio. It's like this big. So I'm really excited. It's gonna be huge. It's probably gonna be taller than any other Lego set that I have so far. Oh, easily taller than any Lego set I've had so far. Also, I went to the antique shop, one that I frequent, where I get all my oddities and my cool stuff. And I found, first of all, I bought deer antlers, which I don't know, they were in an antique shop. I personally would never shoot a deer to get them, and whatever. I don't judge people that do. I personally never would. I bought them at an antique shop, so as ethically as I could. But I also got a cane, and the handle is a deer's hoof. And again, I'm making hand gestures with my fucking hand. If you're audio, you suck it up. You can't see it, okay? But the hoof is like this. It's bent at the wrist, I guess. I don't know if deer have wrists, but it's bent at what I assume to be the wrist. And it's stuck there. And so you hold it, the handle, and it's a cane. I'm really excited because I love just weird shit like that. I have a collection of skulls and different kinds of bones and just weird shit. I love that stuff. So always have my eye out for weird shit like that. I also love going onto my family's land and searching for skulls and stuff. I haven't done it in a while, but I love doing it. So yeah, that was my week. You know, great week of neglecting my plants and being really hard on myself. So yeah, again, just tell your people that you love them, because they might be neglecting their plants as well, and you need to help them. You need to remind them to water their plants, okay? And I mean that literally. I don't mean that figuratively. I mean, they are literally killing their plants. Anyway, what is this episode going to be about? I've been hyping this episode up a little bit because I'm really excited about it. But, and some of you might not really even understand or know what the fuck I'm talking about. But this episode today is about SpongeBob and its impacts on pop culture and modern society today. I'm really excited because SpongeBob, the show, the cartoon, I know, we're talking about a children's cartoon show today. Get over it. This is me, okay? SpongeBob has been a huge part of my life since I was a fucking kid. You know, I was born in 1994. This aired in 1999. So you can imagine, like, and it's still running to this day. Not in the same, like, form that I used to watch it in, but it's still, you know, evolved into what it is. But SpongeBob is like, especially for millennials, it's like a universal language, you know? There are quotes from SpongeBob that you say and everyone knows, you know? Like, SpongeBob brings people together. So anyway, aired in 1999, still running, 13 seasons, 271 episodes, might be more now, who knows, 3 films, video games, merch, etc., etc. Needless to say, it's a huge franchise for a good reason, you know. The humor is hilarious. It can not only entertain children with the stupid slapstick humor, but it entertains adults as well, because there's like a realism there. For example, there's an episode where SpongeBob and Mr. Krabs, who is the owner of the restaurant that SpongeBob works at, a health inspector is coming to the Krusty Krab, which is a restaurant, and, you know, doing the health inspection. And there was a news broadcast saying, like, the newscaster was saying, oh, there's a fake health inspector running about to get free food. Watch out. You know, those of you who have a health inspection, watch out. You might be the fake health inspector. And so Mr. Krabs, being the cheap ass that he is, he freaks out and he's like, oh, this guy's the fake. He's trying to steal food, you know? And so they give him, like, the most disgusting. They put, like, toenail clippings and, like, horseradish and, you know, just a bunch of disgusting shit on this burger. And by the end of, like, the sequence of them putting shit on it, there's, like, a pimple on it and there's hair growing off it. It's disgusting. And they give it to this health inspector. And, you know, long story short, they think that they killed the health inspector, which they didn't. He's just knocked out. And so it's funny watching them have to deal with trying to hide a body, you know? So, and then the kids are watching it and just enjoying, like, SpongeBob being a fucking idiot. So there's, like, a realism there that allows you to kind of go back and watch it again as an adult and still find humor in it. So I love SpongeBob for that reason. I still rewatch it to this day, you know? Anyway, so the writer of SpongeBob, Steven Hillenburg, he majored in marine sciences and minored in art. And obviously, if you're not familiar with SpongeBob, it's all sea creatures which, just makes it even better because it just means that it's more authentic, like the writer actually knew what these creatures would do. Not that the show's extremely realistic in that sense. But it's just, it's really cool to know that he actually gives a fuck about like this underwater society, whatever. So the writing of SpongeBob, at least for the time, was very different than cartoon shows, in the sense of there would be a team that would write like the general story. Like they would write like basic points that would go down in the episode, and then it would go to the animation team who would actually write the dialogue, which is a little bit different than they were doing, at least at the time. Which makes sense because like the humor is very visual in SpongeBob. Like I was saying before, how the Krabby Patty had like a pimple on it and like hair growing off it. And like there'll be moments where like it'll cut off and it'll be like a super detailed face, and it's just really funny. So like it makes sense that the visuals are, really dependent and reliant on the dialogue, and kind of vice versa as well. Also, SpongeBob is just so relatable, and like you kind of relate and identify with like different characters like as you get older. So like the older I get, the more I can actually relate with Squidward, who is like a super grumpy and like pessimistic character. Like now that I've matured, I'm like, damn, like he just wants to have a nice peaceful day. And SpongeBob just keeps coming up and fucking it up for him. So it's like interesting, like how your perception of these characters kind of evolve with you, as you get older. So like the issues are silly and goofy and just unrealistic, but the reactions the characters have to these situations are always so relatable and just fucking hilarious, and everyone knows one SpongeBob episode, like everyone knows the fun song, F is for friends who do stuff together. Everyone fucking knows that song, okay? Everyone can sing it off the top of their fucking head right now. And if you can't, then maybe you're at the wrong podcast. I'm just kidding. You're welcome here, even if you're not a SpongeBob stan. But I think that you should watch it for me, okay? If you love me, you should watch it. Quotes that kind of everyone knows and loves. The Krusty Krab pizza song. I know you can hear it right now in your head. I know you can fucking hear it right now in your head. The chocolate episode. The part where she's like, oh, chocolate. I remember when they first invented chocolate. I always hated it. I quote that all the fucking time. It's part of my like daily speech. Also, in all like so many random episodes, like if there's like a destruction of a building, or if like an explosion, there's always without fail someone out in the distance that says, my leg. It's like just stuff like that. Also, Patrick, is mayonnaise an instrument? Or again, Patrick, no, this is Patrick. Is this the Krusty Krab? No, this is Patrick. Also, Patrick, roast beef, some chicken, a pizza. And like you're hearing these, and maybe you do know what I'm talking about, or maybe you don't know. But if you do know, you're laughing right now, and I know it. Okay. Some of my personal favorites of SpongeBob quotes are, there's one, I don't remember what the situation is, but Mr. Krabs is like talking to SpongeBob, and he's like, oh, it makes you look like a girl. And SpongeBob is like, am I a pretty girl? Mr. Krabs is like, yes, you're beautiful. I don't know what about that fucking quote, it always gets me. It's so funny. Anyway, also, another episode. I don't fucking remember what episode it's from. I don't remember what, but there's like a cutoff of like an actual bodybuilder, and he's like posing, and he's like, yeah, buns and thighs. I probably sound like such a fucking idiot, even like saying all this. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you're like, what the fuck is this bitch saying? Another quote. This is a Patrick quote. Again, I don't know what episode, what the fuck they're talking about, but he's like trying to sound smart. And he's like, the inner machinations of my mind are an enigma. And then it cuts to a fucking carton of milk just falling over. And the milk spilling everywhere. Like, what is that? It's fucking hilarious. That's what it is. Also, are you feeling it now, Mr. Krabs? I say that like daily. Art thou feeling it now, Mr. Krabs? Daily. Quite literally daily. Okay. So not only are the quotes like universal and so widely known, even people who don't watch SpongeBob know some of these quotes, but the amount of memes that are circulating that are from SpongeBob is insane. I mean, just to name off a few. There's the SpongeBob, the I'm a head out, where he's standing up from the fucking chair. That one was circulating like in 2020. Oh my god, it was like every meme. It was like every other meme. Also, this one is kind of recent, but where Squidward is coming up with his like tanning chair, like his folding chair, and he sets it up, and then right under it, it's him picking it up to leave, you know? Another meme is the evil Patrick, where he's just like looking evil and like looking down. Also, another huge one is the mocking SpongeBob, where he's like, you know, so like, and these are universally used, you know, people who don't know or watch SpongeBob knows like the context or at least the feeling behind what these memes are supposed to represent, you know. And it's insane that to this day, the first 3 seasons are still the most memed. Out of all of the SpongeBob seasons, the first 3 are the most memed. The first season is the most memed, if I'm being honest. And there's one particular episode in specific that it's like every frame has become a meme. It's actually kind of crazy. Like the amount of memes that come from fucking SpongeBob. So I invite you to just even Google search SpongeBob memes and see how many that pop up. Or just watch the first 5 episodes of SpongeBob and see like the context of what the memes were originally, you know, what the characters were actually doing. It's really fun to do that. So I really love SpongeBob, and I know I've said that a million times, but the dynamic between each of the characters is always so funny because like there's Patrick and SpongeBob who are always like super stupid and goofy together, and like again, that's like the slapstick humor that like the children love. But then there's like the dynamic with Squidward and Mr. Krabs, where they're kind of like more of like an adult friendship, and you know, adults can kind of relate to them more because it's like the boss employee relationship. And there are times where they're like, actually, it seems like they're kind of homies too. Also, I really love SpongeBob and Gary. Gary's his pet snail. I love SpongeBob and Gary's dynamic as well, because it's like, it's almost like Gary kind of takes care of SpongeBob as well, which I just think is so sweet. But each character in the show kind of represents something different, which is actually really cool if you think about it. So like SpongeBob represents like childlike wonder and like finding happiness in like the little things in life, you know. Squidward kind of shows like the opposite side, like the reality of being a pessimist or being an adult. You know. Patrick kind of represents just, I don't know, he's kind of more of like a comedic relief and like shows you what it looks like when someone lives under a rock and is kind of unaffected by the events going on around them, you know? And then Mr. Krabs kind of represents the selfishness and greed of capitalism. So if you want to get deep with it, like, you can get fucking deep with it. Not only that, but SpongeBob actually like teaches some valuable lessons, you know, like the ugly and I'm proud episode. There's an episode where SpongeBob thinks that he's ugly because every time he talks to someone, they run away, but it turns out he just has bad breath. But there's like a moment there in that episode where he accepts himself for being ugly and like he accepts himself for exactly what he is, you know? And like that's really beautiful. And he's like standing on top of his house, on top of his pineapple, and he's shouting out, I'm ugly and I'm proud, you know? And like it sounds silly, and like in the episode it is silly, but if you really actually think about it, it's really beautiful thing. You know? SpongeBob is good lessons, okay? Also, in some of the newer seasons, there's like episodes that kind of touch on habitat destruction. So those are really good to check out as well. I'm not super familiar with the newer seasons, but also like it just kind of teaches you to just really look for the beauty in life, you know, just like enjoy the little things, because SpongeBob enjoys the little things, you know, and he's like a 37-year-old man, like in real life, like not in real life, but in the show, like he's like in his 30s, but he doesn't care. Like he doesn't let that weigh him down. He doesn't let that make him become a Squidward, which there's nothing wrong with being a Squidward because I'm part Squidward, but there's also nothing wrong with being a SpongeBob either. You gotta have a little bit of SpongeBob in you to match your Squidward. You gotta live life like SpongeBob as much as you can, because he really do be just seeing beauty in everything and having fun in every little thing he does. And if like you wanted to really sit there and like analyze SpongeBob, like his morals and his beliefs and like his lifestyle, I think everyone should kind of strive to live like that, because he works hard while almost in like a people pleasing, like letting people walk over him kind of way. He does work hard, and he finds joy in things, you know, and he doesn't take things too seriously, you know, and he forgives people, and he loves himself and he appreciates himself, which is a really beautiful thing. So yeah, I guess long story short, I think everyone should watch at least the first 2 or 3 seasons of SpongeBob. For me, okay? Even just the first season. If you can't do that, then I don't know what we're doing here. I'm just kidding. I'll forgive you if you can't or if you don't want to, but I do think that for the sake of appreciating it for what it is and like acknowledging what it has done for the internet, because at the very least you've probably shared a SpongeBob meme in your life, or at least you've laughed at one. Okay, so for the sake of that, just watch an episode or 2. Okay. That's all I'll say about that. Did you think I was gonna get through a whole episode without my southern accent? Did you think I was gonna be able to get through a whole episode without talking a little Southern to you? No, of course I can't. Of course I can't. Okay? Anyway, so, come counter. I've been a little depressy little bitch this week, so I can't guarantee that my numbers will impress you. But first, the fact. It's not a crazy fact today. My last week was probably my favorite so far, but did you know that orgasms release prolactin, which is a hormone that promotes good sleep? So if you're having trouble sleeping, maybe you should just fucking yank one. You know, if you can't sleep, or if you're struggling to get to that point where you can sleep, just fucking yank it. I apologize profusely. I apologize. But yeah, I'm at 4 for the week. Like I said, I've been a little depressed bitch, so I have not been recreationally touching myself. What are you gonna do about it? You know? I still got 4 in. Hey, that's better than nothing. But yeah, don't judge me. We're getting through it, you know? I think it's just a phase. It's okay. It's okay, babe. It's just a phase. I think she'll be okay. She just needs to get through this phase and then she'll be fine. That was me talking to you as my husband, talking about me as if I was our child. Just wanted you to get on board with that. Anyway, I think that'll do it for me this week. Like I said, I appreciate you guys. I love and adore you. And be good for me, okay? Yeah, stay good, okay? Stay out of trouble, like I always say. But again, like I always say, if you can't stay out of trouble, that's fine. No judgment. All right, bye. Love you.